Science is defined as a way of learning about natural world through observation and logical reasoning. In other words, science is curiosity and thoughtful action about the world and how it behaves, usually related to things that happen around us. Observation is observing the world using our five senses, which is sight, touch, smell, sound, and taste. Logical reasoning is a logic as you thinking with reason and arguments. In observing the world, science consists of observation, watching and listening, measuring and recording. First, observation. Observation here means in which we are observing the world. We observe the nature behavior of the natural thing happens around us. We are recognizing and noting some fact to gather information about the world. For example, when we are learning about the nature behavior of the world, we can observe the transition of day and night. We can observe the growth of the plant, and we can observe on how the animal lives every day. Second, science consists of watching and listening. We can learn about the world through watch and listen to things that happen around us. Watching and listening can be done through experiment as well throughout the observation process. For example, we watch the bird build its nest, and we listen to the sound produced by the aeroplane. Measuring and recording. We measure and record everything we had seen, heard, and observed. The purpose of measuring and recording is for evidence, proof, and data recording. It can be done from the result gained from experiment. For example, when we observe the transition day and night, from the observation, we measure and record that days has 12 hours and night also have 12 hours.
What is science? Science is understanding and being curious about the physical and natural world all around us. We learn new things by observing, asking questions, and experimenting. This is called the scientific process, and we all use it every day, even without knowing it. Observation. Sometimes when we see things around us, like a honeybee flying through the air, we ask ourselves questions. Question. You might ask, how does the honeybee fly? Hypothesis. Maybe the honeybee is being held up by string, or maybe it's using a bee-sized jetpack, or flying a tiny plane. Experiment. By taking some time to watch the bee fly around, we can see that none of these things are true. No string, no jetpack, no plane. First result. When the bee lands, we can see a set of wings on its back. New hypothesis. It probably uses those wings to fly around, much like other bugs and birds do. Teamwork. A friend sees you having fun looking at honeybees and joins in. Now there are two of you. You get to check even more bees than you would by yourself. New experiment. You look closer at the bees on the ground and in the air, and you notice that all the honeybees you see are using their wings to fly. Final result. The honeybee flies by moving all 4 of its wings back and forth really fast. Share the findings. By helping others to understand what we have learned, we can inspire them to think of their own questions to find answers to. Just like that, you have used the scientific process to learn something new about honeybees and the world. This is exactly what scientists do to find out more complicated things. It's why the Wright brothers studied birds to invent the aeroplane, transforming the way that people travel forever. It's how Marie Curie changed the medical world with her twice-winning Nobel Prize work on radiation. It's the process that scientists have used throughout history to create medicine, light bulbs, cars, planes, smartphones, television, space rockets, satellites, computers, and so much more. So the next time you're faced with a fascinating problem, Remember to observe, ask a question, hypothesize, experiment, and share your results.
What is common sense? Common sense is a sound judgment derived from experience rather than study. Common sense is regarded as the same as the knowledge and experience which most people already have. What common sense really means? Common sense consists of our basic logical knowledge, our sound judgment, and our mystical and spiritual belief. Common sense is actually can be our basic logical knowledge. Logical knowledge refers to knowledge as knowledge of law of logic, meaning that we believe that the knowledge is logic to be practiced and applied, and it used in making practical decisions. For example, when you remove the kettle from the stove, it's common sense to then turn off the burner. This is a basic logical knowledge we have in which it is logic for us to turn off the burner after using it. Second, common sense can be our sound judgment. Sound judgment is the capacity to assess situation and to draw conclusion. The sound judgment is based on simple fact or situation without study. It is basically derived from experience. For example, when Ali is sleeping, he goes to sleep. So, from this example, we can see that Ali used his sound judgment to make conclusion on his situation, in which from the simple situation, sleeping, he makes conclusion by going to sleep. And from his past experience also, it makes sense that when you are sleeping, you should go to sleep. Without further study or investigation, Ali comes to conclusion and make decision for that situation. In common sense, there are elements of mystic and spiritual beliefs. Spiritual is relating to our deep feelings and beliefs. Mystic is a field of connection to every living thing. For example, a knowledge or thinking that we have in which every abandoned place like empty house or in the forest, they are a ghost. No fact to say this is true, but as in our common sense, we know that this is true. Even though we do not see and feel the ghost or spirit, but we know because of common sense, which is our logical knowledge, we can feel the presence of spirit sometimes. For example, we are kind suddenly goosebumps when we are in this kind of place. The differences between science and common sense. First, science, the explanation is not biased to anything. Science systematically rules out variables that are possible causes to prove or to clarify the fact or situation. In common sense, the explanation is with bias. Common sense accepting the explanation according to perception and bias. Abu's stomach growls, so Abu assumes he's hungry. and he go buy some food to eat. In science context, Abu might look into possible cause and rules out variable to prove that he should eat when he is hungry. In common sense context, Abu accepts the explanation with bias in which when his stomach grows, he needs to eat because he is hungry. Though in fact the growl sound is actually not because of he is hungry, but still he believes that he needs to eat to stop the growl sound.
Second, science more on testing. Science only concerned with things that can be tested and publicly observed. Common sense more on metaphysical. Common sense concerned with metaphysical explanation when observed phenomena. Third, science is structured. Science structured and systematically build theories. For example, from an idea we make hypothesis. From hypothesis we make experiment. From the experiment we get the result. So from the result, the theories will be developed. Common sense, there is no structure. Common sense use theory and concept but in free way. Common sense no need for testing, replication or verification in reasoning. Last but not least, science in testing the theories and hypotheses is not based on selective ways. Research and tests will be done to against own perception. In common sense, testing the hypothesis based on selective way. Common sense accept the fact or hypothesis based on own perception.
we think for a moment about how we acquired knowledge, we may come up with many answers which include teachers, parents, friends, elders, or our own experience.
There are different sources, or we use many methods to gain knowledge about anything. Methods of acquiring knowledge are ways in which a person can know things or discover answers to questions. There are 4 methods of knowing. First is tenacity method. The idea is accepted as true and fact because the belief was existed since time immemorial. People are accepting an idea as valid because the idea has been transmitted from one generation to another generation. This acceptance happens and difficult to change because repeatedly told by elders and people around and repeated exposure to the idea. Second method is authority. So who's our authority? The authorities are government, parents, teacher and priest or religious authorities. People are accepting the source of an idea from these authorities without doubting them. People immediately tend to accept the idea from these group of authorities because of respect. Third, priori method. The idea of priori method is independent from the experience. The belief of an idea, it based on the reason and the intuition.
Last method is method of science. Science is more trustworthy and more reliable method than others 3 method. It can be repeated again to confirm whether the idea is true or not. This method is reliable for solvable problems that have empirical solution based on observable events.
This method is systematic, objective, cumulative and logical. The aims of science, scientific explanation and theory. To develop theories and explain natural phenomena. Scientists do not really have to be concerned with explanation and understanding. People study the natural world through observation and experiment. The scientific method is a way of obtaining information about the world. Scientific explanation uses theories, deductive and inductive, of logical and empirical observation to determine what is true and what is false. Theory consists of a set of interrelated concepts, definitions and propositions that present a systematic view of phenomena by specifying relation among variable with the purpose of explaining and predicting the phenomena. Hypothetical explanation for an observation or a question. Theories used by the scientists to interpret, criticize and often modifying the theories to fit unanticipated data.
Chapter 13 Science and Religion. What is religion? The belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Religion is a social-cultural system of designated behaviors and practices, morals, worldviews, texts, sanctified places, prophecies, ethics, or organizations, that relates humanity to supernatural, transcendental, and spiritual elements. Religion is an organized collection of beliefs, cultural systems, and worldviews that relate humanity to an order of existence. Do you know that we have many religions in this world? If you don't, I will show you some example after this. Stay tuned, guys. Example of religion. We have many religions in this world. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Shinto, Judaism and Sikhism. Science versus religion. In this part, we will show an example difference of science and religion. Read and understand the differences of science and religion. Enjoy it. Science. Science concerns the natural of the world. Example, neuroscientists typically explain our thoughts in terms of brain states, not by reference to an immaterial soul or spirit. Religion. Do you know the meaning of religion? Aha, I will explain it. Religion concerns both the natural and the supernatural. Statement that can be tested scientifically. First, most of the energy coming from the sun is in the form of visible light. All of the energy from the sun that reaches the earth arrives as solar radiation, part of a large collection of energy called the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. Solar radiation includes visible light, ultraviolet light, infrared, radio waves, X-rays, and gamma rays. Radiation is one way to transfer heat. Second, the Earth is about 4 billion years old. Scientists have scoured the Earth searching for the oldest rocks to radiometrically date. In northwestern Canada, they discovered rocks about 4.03 billion years old. Then, in Australia, they discovered minerals about 4.3 billion years old. Researchers know that rocks are continuously recycling, due to the rock cycle, so they continue to search for data elsewhere. Since it is thought the bodies in the solar system may have formed at similar times, scientists analyzed moon rocks collected during the moon landing and even meteorites that have crash-landed on Earth. Both of these materials dated to between 4.4 and 4.5 billion years. Third, diamonds are beautiful than rubies. Do you know why diamonds are beautiful than rubies? Let me explain to you. Diamonds are one of the most valuable precious stones around, but not because diamonds are especially rare. In fact, high-quality emeralds, rubies, and sapphires are all rarer in nature than diamonds. The earliest recorded cultures used diamonds to portray strength, the value of love, and even instruments of magic. That value is likely due to a diamond's natural strength and unique visual appearance in combination with its relative rarity. Even a low-grade gem quality diamond is still a thing of value and beauty. Lastly, diamonds are harder than steel. Why diamonds are harder than steel? It is because the outermost shell of each carbon atom has 4 electrons. In diamond, these electrons are shared with 4 other carbon atoms to form very strong chemical bonds, resulting in an extremely rigid tetrahedral crystal. It is this simple, tightly bonded arrangement that makes diamond one of the hardest substances on Earth. Interesting, right? Because I can feel it. Let's enjoy to the next topic.
Hi guys! The next subtopic is science in religion. Before that, I want to read a quote from Albert Einstein, which is, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." What do you think of this quote? Do you agree? The relationship between religion and science is the subject of debate in philosophy and theology. So, how religion related to science? Integration between religion and science is not just about conveying knowledge and religion alone. It should be described that the connection between science and religion exists. In example, most of the religion in the world ask the believer to not drink alcohol. So, educators do not just educate about certain food that is forbidden to eat or drink, but also need to explain about the alcohol from a scientific point of view. From that, there will be a connection between science and religion. Science in Christianity. Christianity is an Abrahamic monotheistic religion and currently the largest religion, with about 2.4 billion followers in year 2020. Christians believe that Jesus is the Christ, who's coming as the Messiah in the Hebrew Bible, which is called the Old Testament in Christianity, and it is also recorded in the New Testament. Genesis and the Big Bang Theory. The Bible chapter 1 says that God created the universe in 6 days. But science says it took 15 billion years to create the universe. A scientist named Schroeder says those opening chapters are description of the Big Bang itself. His thesis depends on the fact that time is not constant. He says relativity has proven the flexibility of time during those 6 days of Genesis. There is also a verse in the Bible that says about hydrological cycle. So the word from God from the first century have been proven in the nowadays technology. Science in Islam. Islam is an Abrahamic monotheistic religion teaching that Muhammad is a messenger of God. The primary scripture of Islam is the Quran. It is believed to the word of God and believed in the teaching and action of Muhammad, which is Sunnah. How science affected to daily life. In Islamic teaching and action from Muhammad, which is Sunnah, tells that we need to take fruits before our meals. But many of us tend to take fruits as a dessert. Fortunately, science has proven that when we eat fruits after meals, it may not be digested properly, and the nutrients may not be absorbed properly either. The Quran also said the function of mountain. In Surah Al-Anbiya, it says, "And we place within the earth firmly set mountains, lest it should shift with them." As a conclusion, the mountain functions as a nail holding the earth together, and this process is known as isostasis. This process of stabilizing the earth uses the gravitational stress from the mountain to flow the rock materials, thus creating equilibrium. Before I end my presentation of science in religion, there is a quote from Derek Button: "God is truth. There is no incompatibility between science and religion. Both are seeking the same truth. Science shows that God exists." So, is science help you to understand the religion?
In the previous video, we have learned about science in religion. But have you ever wondered why science is always related to religion? Is it because they have similarity? Therefore, in this video, I am going to share with you a little bit about the similarity between science and religion. Before we look into the similarity of science and religion, let us look at the topics that we will be covered. The first topic is the three important components, and the second topic is the connections between science and religion that make them similar. Do you know what are the three important components? What are their relations with science and religion? These three components have relations with science and religion because they will be used as a guideline when we want to relate science with religion. The three components play an important role in both scientific and religious belief. It will be shown subsequently that there are important questions coming up in both kinds of belief which are concerned with these components. So now, let us look at the first important component, which is the content of belief. Belief is an acceptance that something is true or exists, while content is the information that expressed through some medium. Therefore, the content of belief means the information about something that we accept as true or exists. Let me give you the example. I have never seen snow before, but I believe that snow is white. Then, the content of that belief is just the meaning of the proposition being accepted by the belief. It's the proposition that snow is white. Here is a different belief. I believe that Jupiter is a gas giant. What is the content of this belief? Is the claim that Jupiter is a gas giant. Note that the content of a belief doesn't have to be a true proposition. It would be false belief. This is important. Beliefs are the sorts of things that can be true or false. So, what are we saying here? We're saying that a belief is a mental state that is about something. It has a certain content. That content can be expressed by a proposition which asserts that such and such is the case. Therefore, in terms of science and religion, it means that we believe that natural phenomena that is happening has got something to do with God's creation. Some people accept it as true because they are true believers of the religion that God is the Almighty, that He controls everything in this universe. But some still think that He has got nothing to do with God, which only science can explain why. Thus, that is why belief could be true or false, depends on our content of belief. Now, let us move on to the second component. The second component is the believing itself or the action of believing. The believing itself or the action of believing means that if we believe in something, we will act purposely. But in order for us to believe something, we need to act first. This means that one has to try to do something until they find the answer so that they know that their belief has the ultimate truth. For example, in terms of science and religion, Al-Quran says that night is the time for human to rest and sleep, while daylight is for human to go to work. By following this, will help us maintain our health and productivity. In order for us to believe if it's true or not, we do something to gain our belief. For example, by following the rules or guidelines, which we go to sleep early at night, and it turns out to be true that we wake up very refreshing on the next day. Now, the last component is the reasons for believing. In order for us to believe in something, we need to have the reasons, right? Hence, by searching the ultimate truth about something that we want to believe will help us find the reasons why we should believe in that particular things. For example, whenever we get sick, we rely on medicine, right? We know that medicine will help us to get well, but we need reason to believe that it is true. One of the reasons is by believing the miracle from God to help us be better. From here, we can conclude that religion may fill the human need for finding meaning, and that meanings help humans to put on hopes in achieving the purpose of life. Apart from that, there are 3 questions correspond to the 3 components where we need to find the answers before we relate the science with religion. The 3 questions are: what is belief? Which is the scientific or religious activity? Why is it belief? Once you are done finding the answer, you can finally see there is similarity between science and religion. Now, we move on to the next topic, which is connections between science and religion that make them similar. There are many ways for us to connect science with religion, and these are the few examples. The first one is, both science and religion are systems of belief about how the world works. They provide answers to all questions about world, like events that are happening, events that happened in the past, and events that could occur. To give the answer about how the world works, science will use facts and evidence, while religion will use faith in a deity. The next connection is, both science and religion require faith and confidence for advanced studies. For example, we want to explain about scientific phenomena like Big Bang Theory, we need to have greater knowledge on that topics to support our explanation. We need to start having faith before doing advanced studies because we might have no idea what the correct way for doing it right. Next, both science and religion have common goal, which is to find the ultimate truth. Science assumes that in a way of finding truth is through observation and testing, while in aspect of religion, one needs to put full devotion and faith to God the Almighty. Thus, it means that religion introduces the divine truth and science will validate them. Then, both science and religion also give benefits and enhance human life. For example, natural phenomena that have proven by scientific evidence give us benefit about how this world works, which we can take advantage on that knowledge. Same goes to religion. Knowledge in religions may help us find ways in solving problems through religious perspective. Last connection is, both science and religion are a way of connecting people together. The human race has survived due to having a common belief system. Like we can relate in today's term, a lot of scientists from all over the world has worked together in an experiment to prove the theory that they thought to be true. Same goes to religion, where people from different backgrounds come to the place for worshipping with only one same purpose, which is to devote themselves to God the Almighty. In summarization, it depends on someone to believe whether science and religion are interrelated or otherwise, because every people see world differently. So, did you guys learn a lot today? Now, let us recap to what we have learned. Today, we learned about science and common sense. Science is information gathered through research on a particular subject with concluded facts, while common sense is the information gathered from everyday knowledge. We also have learned about 4 methods of knowing. Methods of knowing are ways to acquire knowledge in which a person can know things or discover answers to questions. Science aims in developing theories and explain natural phenomena by using scientific method to gain information. Other than that, we also learn about science and religion. In overall, science is about investigating the natural world, while religion deals with the spiritual and supernatural. Hence, the two can be complementary. Both science and religion seek to provide answers to questions related to natural phenomena. Science and religion also guide in finding the meaning in life, in ourselves, and in the world around us. For more better understanding, religion is like a guideline that is guided through the rules in the Holy Book, while science rests on the interaction and communication in society. Science and religion are said to have both differences and similarities, but at last, both brings the same purpose, which is to help us understand how the world works.